Welcome to the White Knight Theater. Touching items at the crime scene is a sign of inadequate scene protection, isn't it? Notifying the medical examiner 10 hours after the crime does not comply with the procedure for timely notification, does it? Which is more likely, that the victim's time of death was before 11 p.m. or after 11 p.m.? The judge ultimately ordered O.J. Simpson to be arraigned on 2 counts of first-degree murder. From then on, the trial of the century officially began. Winning or losing involves whether Simpson will be executed. Under such immense pressure, what decision will the defense make? Produced by Himalaya, the 18th episode of the Chinese-American detective Dr. Lee Chong-Yu's crime drama is playing the race card as speculation or wisdom. O.J. Simpson is currently detained in a Los Angeles prison. His lawyer claims to have no visit with him today. Simpson believes he is completely innocent. In the Simpson case today, Superior Court Judge Lance Ito was assigned to preside over the case. Judge Ito is an Asian American whose appointment is likely a strategic choice by the court to mitigate the racial tensions the case is causing between the black and white communities. We have reliable information that one of the most famous black civil rights lawyers in the United States, Johnnie Cochran, has earlier visited the holding facility and joined O.J. Simpson's dream team of defense lawyers. A year ago, this local Los Angeles criminal defense lawyer represented Michael Jackson in his child molestation case and successfully reached an out-of-court settlement. Here is the conversation between Johnnie Cochran and O.J. Simpson during their prison meeting. "Are you okay?" "Brother, you didn't call me. I'm not doing well. Let's sit down and talk. No matter how you decide, whether you help me or not, you need to know that I love Nicole more than you think. I didn't do it. It couldn't have been me. I know you're right to call me. I'll get you out of here. Do you know how many black brothers out there support you? They're all giving you strength. You'll be okay. Brother, I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. You're strong. We'll get you out. I hope so. Cheer up. Look at your current state. You can't walk in like this. Everyone will be watching you. If everyone thinks I'm guilty, I'll change their minds. Did you forget who you are? Speak up louder. Your O.J. prison can't change that, nor can it erase the meaning you have for many people. Let me tell you what you mean to me. In 1978, I left my private law firm and returned to the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office to become the first black assistant prosecutor, hoping to change things from within. But the reality was that I couldn't change anything. The system was still very corrupt. For the first time in my life, I felt powerless and helpless. During that time, my first marriage ended, my children wouldn't talk to me, and both my career and family were at a low point. I was very depressed. One Sunday, I sat in bed, feeling down and not wanting to do anything. I opened a bottle of wine, turned on the TV, and there was a football game on. It was very boring until I saw you. You were running on the field nonstop. For some reason, I felt like you were running for me, crashing through opponents and obstacles without fear, getting knocked down, and then getting back up. You did what I wanted to do in reality, but couldn't. You did it with your will and persistence. I remember that day, I scored a touchdown. Yeah, during the commercial break, you appeared in the airport hall again. You leaped over a black man, the largest company in the world. But we lost that game. I don't remember. I remember everything about that day. The game, including the commercials, everything except the score. That was the least important thing. After it was over, I jumped out of bed, ran through 6 blocks, and went back to the office to continue working. I never felt sorry for myself again. That's what you mean to me. You've had that kind of impact on many people because you are O.J. Simpson. You are O.J. Simpson's inspiration. That's right. You're a fighter. You always lead the charge. Every time you get knocked down, you can get back up and keep going. You can do it. I can. I have one last question for you. The situation is not looking good. To win the case, and for all our other brothers and sisters, I want to emphasize the racial issues behind your case in court. Some people might describe me as playing the race card in a very unpleasant way. We agree. On July 22nd, 1994, Simpson was formally charged. Judge Lance Ito, the presiding judge in the Simpson case, made a ruling early in his tenure that was politically correct. Judge Ito upheld the legality of the LAPD's search of a second crime scene and Simpson's home, the Rockingham estate. As a result, All the physical evidence and blood samples found in Simpson's home were declared valid, including one of the most critical pieces of evidence, a bloodied right-hand glove. This news was highly favorable to the prosecution. Almost at the same time, Johnny Cochran officially announced to the media that he had joined Simpson's defense team, and the full attorney meeting officially began. There are many people here today. Before we start discussing, I think we should agree on the answer to one question. So, who among you thinks OG is a murderer? Good, it seems no one thinks so. So, we don't need to worry about the prosecution's current advantage. All right, let's hear my plan for the next steps. Wait, Shapiro, we haven't welcomed our new friend yet. First, welcome aboard. Let's talk about the overall strategy. Now, we need to focus on the jury. We already know that the trial location has been finally set in downtown Los Angeles. Here, in the jury pool, African Americans are in the majority. Johnny, this should be good news for us, right? Of course, African American brothers are obviously our natural allies, but we have to face a small problem. What problem? African American women are not very fond of African American men marrying white women, especially OG, who is a successful African American man and who had an African American wife when he was cheating on Nicole. Therefore, for us, the attitude of African American women towards OG is uncertain. We must win the sympathy and support of this group for OG. Well said, you really understand the mindset of these African Americans, these little disclosures. In this case, your wording must be extremely careful. Of course, but the important thing is that we must work together. I'll handle the evidence, and you handle the jury. The proportion of African American members in the jury must be high. I want to make Marcia know what it means to be at a standstill. Under the American jury system, 12 jurors will directly determine the outcome of a case. Especially in criminal cases, the juror's verdict must be unanimously agreed upon for the judge to announce the result. To ensure fairness, justice, and transparency, the selection of jurors will go through a long and rigorous process. First, the judge will randomly select a certain number of candidates from the local voter registration list and ask if they are willing to serve as jurors in this case. Then, the judge will review whether the candidates are qualified to serve as jurors in this case through a questionnaire. Finally, the candidates will come to the court at the designated time for voir dire. Only those candidates who are unanimously recognized by both the prosecution and the defense can be confirmed as jurors in this case. In this case, since the black and white communities have completely different views on whether O.J. Simpson murdered Nicole and Goldman, the special nature of the jury system is magnified. The candidates' ethnicity, skin color, occupational background, etc., have become the key points of contention and investigation for both the prosecution and the defense. Especially for the prosecution, during the trial phase, they must convince all 12 jurors that Simpson is guilty to win the case. On the contrary, the defense only needs to persuade one juror that Simpson is not guilty to be in an unbeatable position. After the jury selection process was launched, under the leadership of Johnny, the defense team worked to increase the proportion of black jurors. However, whether to use the race card to win the support of black jurors during the trial phase became a point of disagreement between Piero and Johnny. A major internal battle within the defense team was imminent. Do you guys even understand? Based on Dr. Lee's previous findings, there were many issues with the police's evidence collection at the crime scene. Coupled with our efforts to obtain permission for independent testing of the blood evidence, we don't need to emphasize OG's race. This would change the nature of the case. Calm down. We want more black jurors, but don't want to deliberately mention the racial issues in the case during the trial. Isn't that contradictory? These two things are completely different. We want more jurors who are favorable to us. This is normal defense thinking within the legal system. You don't understand what a reasonable range is. Shapiro, I've worked hard in black civil rights for many years. If we're not going to use this, what's the point of me joining the defense team? It was me who recommended you to join the team because it would make the prosecution think we're playing the race card. As long as they don't want this case to cause riots, they have to negotiate with us. It's just a game. In the real courtroom, we still need to focus on the law itself. Negotiating conditions can help OG win the case, but I won't do it this way. Bringing up race issues in the courtroom will damage my reputation, our reputation. Let me say something that may seem noble to you. Doing this will only further exacerbate the racial tensions between black and white people. Don't you feel ashamed? Do you remember the first article of the American Lawyer's Oath? I always keep the meaning of the legal profession below its professional significance. This is America, and we are defending a black man.